Welcome back, everybody, to the Triad of the Force podcast, a podcast from Puerto Rican friends coming together to do deep dives into Star Wars and other nerd-related media. I am Nani, and I am officially
She's back. Welcome back. Holy crap. Welcome back.
No,
How's it feel?
It's insane. It's a little crazy. I can't believe I took the bar. It's done.
Congratulations, by the way. The
Yeah.
internet also has been wishing you luck for all this time. So we are all very, very happy to have you finally conclude this journey of studying and finally taking the bar. And we're sure that the results will
Hopefully, I
be
passed.
fruitful. We'll be fruitful. We're very confident in you. If anything, like your journey through law school has been an indicator. You broke curves and just beat all expectations. The bar will be no different. So congratulations.
Yeah, here's hoping. We find out around Thanksgiving, so it's like they ruined your summer because you have to study the whole time. I mean, literally, my social calendar, like the only things I went to was like my niece's 2-year-old birthday party and
You
my
have
other
to
niece's
family. Yeah.
baptism. Yeah, that was it. It was kids' parties. That's what my life was this summer.
Hey man, but I think that's a good balance, right? Because it's like you're doing like all these quote unquote adult things, and it's good
Yeah.
to remove yourself from the adult drama and responsibility world and just dive into some innocence and naivete to an extent, and just kind of turn your brain off a little bit.
Yeah, it's
I've been
crazy.
thinking
So
I've
yeah,
been thinking about that. I just look at kids and stuff, and I'm just like, oh man, it'd be
yeah,
I get it now.
yeah. No responsibilities. Just
When parents would tell us like, "Oh man, you're gonna wanna just
yeah.
go back to when
You
you were
don't want
that
to grow up
age."
so fast. It's
That's
like,
like,
yeah, I want to be a grown up. Being a
and now
grown
it's
up
just like, yeah,
sucks. Yeah,
you might have been right. You might have been right.
that's true.
Uh, but yeah, it was so fun. It was so fun in some ways to uh, be kind of doing all the social media stuff and podcasting stuff while you were absent, because people have definitely been invested in your journey and wishing you good lucks, good fortunes, and good tidings while you were there. So there was you were missed. You were missed in the
I am very appreciative too of
and
all the love.
our followers have been excited for your return, so I'm sure that yeah, your voice and your visage will be a welcome sight for everybody. But on the flip side, right, there's you were studying and out for a couple of months
Yeah,
for the bar, so you've been immersed in the law and the constitution and like all
yeah,
these things, and in a way like very much like Luke in Acto, you cut yourself off from the force.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm curious to see like your experience not engaging with Star Wars, and have because I basically kind of left you alone for all this time. So
Yeah, yeah,
we've
I
been
know.
in touch a little bit to make sure that you're alive and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
fed while you're studying. But I haven't known much about your Star Wars, the connection to the Force, as it were. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how studying went, and how have you been watching the Acolyte,
Oh no,
Lego,
I
like
never even.
what's up?
I started watching it before I started on my studying, just like closing myself off from everything. I watched the first 2 episodes only, I think, and I was getting really into it. But then I was like, I can't continue to watch it because I'm gonna get invested and I'm gonna be sucked into like this
Mm.
wormhole that is the Star Wars fandom. No offense, but
Oh,
I was pretty,
understandably, yeah.
I was pretty isolated from it because it's not good to be on social media or anything while you're studying for the bar because it's just way too distracting. And I'm notorious from not being like in social media a lot anyway, so it
Mhm.
wasn't like a big pull to just
Wasn't a
not paying so
sacrifice,
much
yeah.
attention. Yeah. But I would sometimes get really curious, like when suddenly, I think it was for Ty's episode, like the comments had to be blocked
Oh,
out. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
what
yeah, yeah,
happened?
yeah, 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 yeah,
So things like that, I'd be like, oh my god, why is there so much hate? And Hosbando obviously, was in the real world, and
yeah.
he's not huge on social media either. But sometimes he'd write to me. It's like, have you checked on Goose? Because the acolyte is like attracting a lot of hate,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so it was kind of strange because I felt kind of like disconnected from it all, but still I still care, obviously,
Yeah.
but it was a strange experience to be. you know, disconnected while this huge thing was going on in Star Wars fandom. So, but I had to take the bar seriously. So I'll
And
sit down
we're
now
glad you
that
did. We're glad you did.
yeah, yeah. So I'll sit down now and watch it. No expectations, just to see what I think about it, and then I'll watch the episodes that record because I haven't watched it because I don't want spoilers. And
Yeah, 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 of course, of course. And see how our journey was,
yeah,
speculating and how
hmm
right or wrong we were. Probably mostly wrong. I would say I don't really remember like a lot of the speculation. I
hmm
did have like, some theories that obviously didn't come to pass. One big theory I think was confirmed. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I will also add to that that I think that if there was a perfect time for you to not be on social media and be disconnected from Star Wars
yeah.
fandom, it was absolutely during the Acolyte. And I know we were kind of scheduled a little bit to talk about the Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy special, and we'll get to that. But I think one of
Which
the
was
interesting
great, by the way.
it
It
was.
was great.
I
Yep.
have we haven't discussed it at the podcast. We had the interviews with
Yeah.
Dayton and oh my god, I forgot everyone's name. But the creator, the showrunners of the special, a couple of the actors, Bobby Moynihan, and we
Mhm.
have still have some stuff to release, but we haven't discussed it in earnest in terms of a review. So we'll get to that at some point. But I think it was important, yeah, to kind of catch up about the
Catch
Acolyte
up.
because
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
it's so interesting, and obviously, it's not even about the Acolyte. Because obviously, we can't talk about it yet because you haven't seen it. But I think it's
Yeah.
interesting to just kind of
The backlash and
as a
everything that
yeah
happened.
as
Yeah.
a channel that
Yeah.
is Puerto Rican channel, Hispanic channel. It's about racing voices that aren't the main character, so to speak, on Star Wars
Yeah.
narratives on social media and whatnot. It was kind of disheartening all of a sudden to see what happened with the Acolyte. Maybe it was predictable. I don't know. I would have liked to have thought that we were kind of past it after everything that happened with the Last Jedi, but it was an interesting backlash that occurred during and after the Acolyte, which very sad, very disappointing, and it kind of talks a lot about why we kind of need stories like the Acolyte
Yeah.
and more representation like this because it's if it's ruffling feathers, I feel like if it's ruffling the feathers of a certain uh, part of quote unquote fandom, and I use that with quotations because how can you be a fan if you're a
Yeah.
fandom's about joyfulness, and if you're kind of going out of your way to attack people, it's just like what kind of fan are you? But if
Yeah.
you're kind of uncomfortable with some themes and some
Yeah.
people showing up that look a certain way, then I think
Yeah.
it's a moment of introspection. But it was definitely a rough couple of weeks after it finished because I feel during it, uh, there was a lot of joy. I think like a lot of people really
hmm
connected with the show, and there was a lot of
Yeah.
fun that was had. I know I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed the show a lot. It was a lot of fun to have like all the guests that we had. Like I got Chase to come out
Yeah.
for our final discussion. We got Christina Ariel, so we had a lot of really good guests, and I think it was a really fun show. I mean, most Star Wars shows are. Let's be
hmm
honest. I don't
Yeah.
think there has been a miss. I think they've all been great. But I think the Acolyte. It was one of the shows that I was expecting the most. It was
Yeah.
definitely the one of the shows that I've enjoyed the most. But it was definitely a show that was exhausting. Not because of the show itself, but because of everything that happened afterwards.
Around
So
it. Yeah.
I don't know I'm curious. I'm curious to know like what trickled down to you and what Husbando picked up from everything because for me it's always interesting to see like from the outside, right? Because I know like how it's happening to me and how I receive things, but it's always interesting just to see like the point of view that I'm not getting, the third person,
Yeah.
to see how it's perceived in a different perspective.
Yeah, so Hosbando hasn't watched it either because he's forbidden because he has to
Good,
watch it with
good,
me. It's
good.
one of those things that we have to watch
That's good
together.
partnership.
So
Good partnership.
yeah, so he's kind of mad at me because he every day he's like, "Are we gonna watch the Acolyte?" I was like, "I still need because I want to pay attention and my brain like I'm still rebooting,
Mhm.
so I'm just watching stupid reality TV like just."
Yeah.
I can't really
I
handle anything that makes me want to like use my actual brain cells because they kind
Mhm.
of went out the window after the bar. I'm waiting for them to like grow back. Um, but I know that he was kind of like worried about it, kind of like why is there so much hate? Like we have to watch it to see like maybe understand why like people were so upset about it. And I feel like a lot of people were commenting without even watching it,
Yeah,
just kind of
absolutely.
responding to
Yeah.
what was already online and they haven't even seen it. Um my boss is actually a big Star Wars fan, but he's, older and mostly fan of like the original trilogy and stuff like that. But he's watched most of the shows. And then I asked him, like, did you watch The Acolyte? And he's like, no, I have because they told me it was horrible.
Oh my
It's like,
god.
that's
That's a
interesting.
red flag to
Like,
me. It's
yeah.
just
So I was a little bit like, if that's what they're saying, and some people are not watching just because of other people's opinions about it, because
Mhm,
it's
mhm,
some people think it's very non-Star Wars and it destroyed Star Wars and all the things that we heard about when The Last Jedi came out,
mhm,
and you and me are huge fans of The Last Jedi. So
mhm.
I don't know. I think that's been mostly because like I said, I haven't really dug into like all the craziness that was happening and what people were actually upset about. But yeah, there's a lot of comments of just straight up I haven't even watched it, but I know it's terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
Which to me is nonsensical. I mean, if you haven't even watched it, how can you criticize?
It's
So
definitely it's definitely like a strange reaction, and sometimes I wonder if it was even fabricated. I mean, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but it's
right,
but I wonder, like, is this fabricated or are these bots? Like, is this disingenuous?
yeah,
Because a lot of it, it's just parroting talking points, right? People are just saying the same things. It's just like, oh, it breaks canon. Oh, the acting's
yeah,
terrible. Oh, like it's just like saying the same trite things, and I'm just like,
just repeating it.
I just
Yeah,
like, if you're repeating or even engaging with the show, if you're just like
right.
saying, if you're just talking, if you're just parroting talking points, so it's
Yeah.
again
So
not a
even if you're gonna criticize, like try to be original in your criticism, not you
yeah,
just
like
repeat what everybody else is saying. I don't know.
it was strange because it's again, and we've said it before in like past reviews for other shows or
Yeah,
films or whatever that we've done in the past. It's not a matter of not liking a thing. I mean, God knows
yeah,
I've disliked things left and right.
yeah,
But but you talk about it in a genuine way, in an honest
and
way,
constructive too. Like why you
hmm
didn't like a certain thing, or
in
try to
in good
see
faith, yeah,
right. And
and then move on,
yeah, yeah, get a
move
fucking
on.
life.
But but it's also the culture of rage bait YouTube and a lot of YouTubers that I won't name here because we don't need
Yeah,
to invoke negative and toxic channels. But it's they make a career out of it, right? Of like
yeah,
inciting hostility and toxicity, and at that point, it's interesting because a lot of those channels and the people that parrot their talking points, they don't
yeah,
like politics in Star Wars, and they don't like to talk about identity politics and wokeness and which whatever that means. But then
yeah,
they're making it about it because all of a sudden they see a black woman there. It's just like, oh well, now I have to
yeah,
attack that because of this. It's just like someone can't just exist the way they are, and that's just playing identity politics. Like, aren't you then doing the
yeah,
exact same thing by reacting negatively towards it? It's so it yeah and it's sad because then it puts Star Wars in a place where it can't evolve because now they canceled or didn't renew the Acolyte, whatever
yeah.
parlance you want to use. And
Mhm.
it's one of those things where people are saying that it was canceled because of the toxic reaction towards it from the
Right.
internet. But it's nothing's black and white. It was probably that
Yeah.
must have played into it to some degree. But budgets, there were viewership, there's a lot of other decisions that came into it. But yeah, but now it's just one of those places where it's just like, so what do you want Star Wars to be? Do you want Star Wars to just be
The
AI?
same over and over and over again?
Yeah, AI
Yeah.
generated,
Yeah.
and it's funny that we're having this conversation now because during this weekend I was down at my alma mater at Urbana Champaign where I
Mhm.
studied. I did my master's in architecture, and we were in reviews. And after the reviews, all the professors get together and we have dinner and we have drinks, blah blah. And one of the topics that we were talking about was AI in architecture.
Right.
And because obviously AI is a topic in all
Yeah,
fields.
it's everywhere
Eh,
now.
it's a very sensitive topic. It's a very complicated topic, and it's pertinent to talk about it. But talk about it with nuance, right? Because it's not going to go anywhere. So we have to acknowledge its place in it. But one of the things that we were talking about in terms of architecture is that when you use AI in terms of like generative imagery,
Hmm.
it doesn't create, right? It only
Yeah.
generates what it is fed. So
Right.
if you, you can only give it things that exist or that someone else has
Right.
done.
Yeah.
So in many ways, AI is plagiarism because it's just stealing
Yeah.
other
Hmm.
people's work and images
Yeah.
to create something new. But and I use create loosely, but it's just
Right.
making what it already knows, so it's not ever going to make something unique
New.
because it's
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
it can't create. It can
Yeah.
only regenerate.
Right.
So I think that applies with this conversation about Star Wars, right? Like a lot of people that don't want Star Wars to innovate and make new stories because they just want to regurgitate the same things.
The same
It's just
ones.
like
Yeah.
then you just want an AI to just spit back fan fiction. They call the Acolyte fan fiction, they call the sequel trilogy fan fiction, but in reality, you want fan fiction. You just want the same stories with the same
Yeah.
characters over and over and over, and it
Which
was
is just
just sad.
stagnation. Just
Yeah.
rewatch the movies if that's what you want to do. Just
Yep.
they're there. We love them.
Hmm.
Rewatch them if that's all you care about. Then you don't care about new Star Wars then.
No. Well,
Yeah.
new
Mm.
new for them, new only needs to be
Regurgitated.
it was released
Yeah.
this year, but
Hmm.
not it can never be new in the oh it did something different. It's just
Hmm.
like then just make new characters. And it's like, okay, so here's the Acolyte, the new characters. Oh no, we don't like that because
No, we don't like those.
blah, blah. It's just like
Yeah.
what the hell do you want then? Let's bring back George Lucas, but you're the ones that kicked George Lucas out
Yep.
by harassing the man for the prequel trilogy, and
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, it was a post Acolyte. Star Wars has been a kind of hard,
Rough. Yeah.
rough, and
Yeah.
tough to navigate because it's just not been and yeah and without you it was definitely even harder. So we definitely
Oh.
took a break. So now we're back. We're re-energized. We've done what we needed to do. Our lives are in like better places than they were maybe three
Yeah.
months ago. So we're ready. We're ready for new conversations with new Star Wars and new films that are going to come out. We're hoping that we're going to talk about like our favorite horror movies
Yeah.
in a future episode in the next coming weeks. But I know I didn't want to give you assignments while you were studying,
Study it. Yeah.
but this week I felt a little brave and I said,
Yeah.
hey, as a palate cleanser, as a
Yeah.
way to ease back in, something that's a little easier. Maybe, and since it's the last thing that we were putting out, maybe
Yeah.
Rebuild the Galaxy might be the Star Wars Lego Rebuild the Galaxy special. Maybe that's a good way to dip your toe
Yeah.
back in the pool
Yeah.
and not
Ease the way
not
back
dive,
in.
but yeah,
Yeah.
uh, just walk down into our kiddie pool here. And were you able to watch the special?
I
Because that's a fun.
did.
I think it's a fun one to talk about.
Yeah, it was really fun. It to watch it was really fun. I
Hmm.
mean, I was laughing the whole time. It was so good. It was so refreshing to get to like you said, it's like new characters that know the story of Star Wars
Hmm.
and then to see them, kind of respond to a galaxy that has completely changed, but the characters are still there, and it's like so confusing. And the way that they interact, the voice acting was great. The
Hmm.
visuals
Hmm.
were. It was so good, and I can't believe that after years of speculation, we finally got Darth Jar Jar.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
hell yeah,
just.
hell yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun. I had a really good time watching it. So I watched it all this morning. Actually, I was like, I'm just gonna watch it right before, so I have it
Yeah,
all fresh
it's
and
a
stuff.
fun
And
watch,
it was really fun.
and it's
Postmando was
definitely
laughing too. He was like,
it's.
I don't know if I necessarily care. And then I put it on and he's like, he was about to go outside and he's like, okay, I'm just going to stay and watch. This is actually really funny.
I
So,
feel like every Lego special
yeah.
has done that for for me, where I'm
Mhm.
not necessarily like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm dying to watch this,
Super excited, yeah.
but then once it
Mhm.
starts, you're like, okay, this
Yeah,
is really
this
a
is
lot of
good.
fun. And with the context that I just gave about the state
Yeah,
of fandom in general after
yeah,
the Acolyte, was I think this was kind of like the perfect project to come out
yeah,
after, because it was okay. Let's just relax. This isn't canon. It doesn't
yeah.
matter, and I use that
Right.
cautiously because I mean all stories matter. You connect with them,
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter in terms of like, oh, I need to, how it ties into everything. It's like it's its own story for its own sake.
yeah,
A lot of fun. Like you said, like a lot of new characters to root for, a lot of inversions
yeah.
of original characters that took different journeys.
Yeah,
Except Leia, who's apparently she's the anchor being.
of
Uh,
course she is.
to use the parlance of the MCU, the anchor being of Star Wars, and she's always the same in every galaxy. Uh, but yeah, and it wasn't controversial. I didn't see anyone get anything tied in a knot because C-3PO was leading the Ewoks in a golden Naboo cruiser, which I thought was genius, by the way.
It was
Um,
so good.
I love that because I'm just like, oh my god, it's great because he did the opposite of Return of the Jedi, where he didn't want to. His programming doesn't let him pretend to be
Yeah,
a deity to the Ewoks.
yeah,
Now it's just like,
yeah.
screw it,
And this time
I'm
he's
gonna
like,
be.
"Now I'm their god."
Yep, with the red eyes from the Rise of Skywalker, and then
Yeah,
obviously the golden Naboo Star Cruiser. I was just like,
yeah.
this is great. That was probably
And still
one of my
quoting their
favorite
odds of
gags.
survival.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's like,
I,
why is he giving us the odds?
I
It's
feel
so
like that was
funny.
my favorite. I mean, there were so many gags, but that was one of my
Yeah,
favorites for sure. Because obviously, Darth Jar Jar is like the easiest one to latch onto and to talk about because it's been such a meme
I know.
on the internet. But I don't know. There's something about evil C-3PO. Well, not evil C-3PO. He's bounty
Yeah,
hunter
bounty hunter.
C-3PO. But
Yeah,
yeah.
and the
So
Ewoks were like really into it.
well, I mean, the Ewoks have always been kind of
They're
evil if you think
hardcore.
about it.
Yeah, yeah,
They ate
yeah,
stormtroopers, so
yeah.
those helmets were empty for a reason during the celebration at Endor. But
Yeah,
what was your favorite part? Did you watch it? I would imagine that for this one, you actually came in fresh without any preconceived notions, because I would
yeah.
assume that you hadn't watched any trailers for it.
No.
So, what were your
Yeah.
expectations? And yeah, what were some of your favorite things like watching it?
So I had no idea what to expect. Like when I clicked on it on Disney Plus, I thought it was just gonna be like a one episode thing, like a mini movie or something, like some of the ones they did for like summer
Mhm,
vacation
mhm.
and all the other Lego Star Wars. So when I saw it was 4 episodes, I was like, what am I getting into? What is this? So I didn't know anything about it. Then it started and it was so fun. I mean, when they just started with the nerf herders, I was like, they're
Mhm, mhm.
actual nerf herders? Are you kidding me? Like it's crazy. And the whole idea that you get to play with these characters so
Mm.
much that you know and love and just put them in all these different roles. I think Palpatine was probably one of my favorite ones.
He destroyed me. I should have expected it, but sometimes
Yeah.
I turn off my expectations watching these things.
Oh my
So
god.
I should have expected it, but I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't, because when he shows up, I was
Oh yeah.
like, it destroyed me. It was
It
hilarious.
was it was so good. Unlimited power. It was
Like
so
I never
good.
would have expected Jedi Master Palpatine.
It was so good. And then Vader, he's just like, I should have never promoted you from Padawan. It's like even worse than him never making it to Jedi Master. It's just
But
like
now I'm
not even.
curious. Now I'm curious to know what happened to Anakin
Yeah.
to
To
like
still end up
become
with the suit.
to end
And
up with
now
the
it's
suit.
white, but it's he's still in the suit.
I
So
need to see that. I need to see that now.
yeah.
Because it's not a
Yeah.
redeemed Vader. It's just a good guy.
It's
Good
yeah,
guy Vader.
he's
Good guy Jedi
yeah,
Knight Vader.
yeah, yeah. And the Leia and Luke still never had met each other, and so we're assuming Padme's still dead. So I mean,
It's
yeah.
like it's
What was the
again
story? What happened? Yeah.
like the MCU. Some events, it's like in What If,
Mhm.
where the Doctor Strange
Mhm.
story, where Christine has to die, uh,
Regardless of what
or
universe,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for that to happen, and it's the same. I mean, Padme has to die for everything to be okay, which is unfortunate and a little sexist, but sure. Uh,
Right. But yeah, but there were so many things that were great. I mean, the ship designs, how they switched like the X-Wings with
mhm,
the TIE
mhm.
fighters and everything was so good. It's just you can do so much with Legos. it's I mean, I love all the Lego movies, because it's just and especially I love the whole, forest builder thing.
Mhm, mhm.
It's, you're playing with the forest, but it's, like, specific to Legos, like the builders and the was it the destroyers, breakers or something like
Something like
the
that,
dark
yeah.
version of it? It was so good. Um, Obviously, I wasn't expecting the
Oh,
Landatorian?
and then
The
DeLorean, yeah,
Landator
like, at the post-credits,
Yeah,
pre-credits scene, whatever, with the Grogu was also
yeah.
like a I don't know. Wasn't Grogu also with the helmet or something? I don't know,
I don't remember but Lando, as soon as you hear the voice, it's like, "No,
and
no,
they got Billy D.
ability."
They
Yep,
got Billy D, they got Mark Hamill,
yeah,
obviously, they got Ahmed Best for Jar Jar, so
Jar
I
Jar.
thought that was one of the great things. They also got Naomi Ackie for, Jaina, and, oh my god, and Kelly Marie Tran for
Yeah,
Darth Rose, so I that made me happy that even though it's,
yeah,
like,
and Sam Witwer
voice
for Darth
acting,
Maul.
they got oh, and I love that Darth Maul was a nice guy.
I know, and you thought at the beginning, like, he's betraying them, it's like, "No, dude, I was totally just, trying to get in touch with Leia, and then you left."
And then he's just
So good.
wearing Lando's Hawaiian shirt
Yeah.
from Solo. I mean, it's like so good. Which I think is one of the great things about like this Lego special in particular. It's like there are inversions that make story sense because yeah, Sith Master Palpatine, Jedi Master Palpatine.
Yeah.
But then some things are just completely random that don't even make sense, but in the best way possible, which is exactly like Darth Maul with Lando's shirt or Lando as the Mandalorian. I'm just like, okay, why? But also, why not? Let's just
Why
have
not?
fun. And I
Yeah.
think that was
Leia with Greedo because he shot first.
oh, I think that was one of the best inversions that there were. It's just having Lando. I mean, Han, because everyone knows
Yeah,
Han's the scoundrel, but they kind
yeah,
of pulled it. But he's the scoundrel with the heart of gold, right?
yeah.
But here she's just a scoundrel. He
Yeah, yep,
actually ends
just
up betraying everybody,
yeah.
which was like such a big jaw drop moment because you're like,
I was like,
Han
"What?
would never betray
Han?"
his friends, but he
Yeah,
does because this is just a completely different galaxy. And Greedo
yeah,
took his girl or took the
yep.
girl that he wanted, which so funny, so funny.
Because it was so funny when it's happening. It's like, "Oh, they're the same in this galaxy too." Nope,
Mhm.
never mind.
It's not, and I
Nope.
and I think that was one of the cool framing devices, right? Of having like all these characters, Sig, and oh my god, I forgot, Dev. Oh, because he's Darth Devastator. There we go, Darth Dev,
Darth Devastator, yep.
Devastator. Have them be kind of the main characters because they're and on purpose, right? There are
Yeah.
proxies, right? Where
Mhm.
they're just like Star Wars fans in the
Yeah,
Star Wars galaxy,
yeah,
experiencing Star Wars, but in many ways, kind of like
yeah,
this is why I felt the show was so great to come
yeah,
after the Acolyte because now they're in a new galaxy and they're reckoning with what they
yeah.
think Star Wars means, and then learning that Star Wars can just be
Mhm.
whatever it needs to be for you, and it can grow and it can adapt. And one galaxy closes, kind of like the
Yeah,
expanded universe, and it becomes Legends, but another opens, and there's more stories to tell there. And I think that, and I don't know if this was necessarily the intent of the
yeah,
showrunners. And there's our interview with them that we released a couple weeks ago that you should check out because they're wonderful interviews. They were a lot of fun and they had a lot of insight to it. I don't know if this was necessarily like their intent, but it definitely felt very appropriate in the time
right.
because it's basically telling us like, hey, we need to tell new stories, we need
Yeah,
to
and you get
innovate,
over
we
yourself.
need to yeah,
Yeah,
and we just need to kind of learn to
yeah,
grow and accept and move on also from
yeah,
from the stories that came before because I
yeah,
think that was the most bold thing of the whole special was the ending because you expect everything to
yeah.
have a
To
happy
change
ending,
back.
and
Yeah,
you think it's gonna be predictable because it's a kid story or a
yeah,
Lego story, so it's gonna be all peaches and cream, as they say, and then at the end they're gonna restore the galaxy and everything's gonna be great. And but no, it kind of has
no, yeah,
a sad, melancholy ending where it's just like, no, you can't go back. And I'm just like, oh,
yeah,
that was in
yeah.
very strange and interesting way to end the show. So I want to know your reaction to that. Like, how did it feel? Because were you like me expecting that they were going to be able to reset the galaxy, or did you think that? this was going to end the way that it did, and that they were going to be stuck in this new one.
Well, it was clear from Jedi Bob
Hmm.
that he was totally hiding something.
Hmm.
So I knew it was going to be like a complication, but I thought they were going to find a workaround around it,
Hmm.
and it was going to end up like them setting it back because, like you said, and you know, it's Disney, it's Lego, it's a kids show, and you know, they usually tie them up with a nice pink ribbon at the end, you know, and like, oh, and happily ever after, and the galaxy's back.
Hmm.
But it was way more nuanced what they did. I wasn't expecting it. It was really cool. And it's this whole thing about how the galaxy that we grew up with wasn't even the original one. I
Hmm.
mean,
Hmm.
Bob's galaxy came first. So it's like for you, that was the important galaxy, but that was the galaxy for me
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
before. And now there's this new one that we have to protect because it's just as important as all the other ones. The other ones are like closed off to us, but it
Right, because
doesn't
they're
mean that
important
there's
for the
not new
person who
opportunities.
lived it, right?
Yeah.
It's like same as prequel kids. The prequels are important to you, but
Yeah.
now the sequels are going to be important for a new gen. So it's just like you
Right.
still got to protect a legacy because it might not be yours, but
Mhm.
it means something to someone else.
Yeah, so I thought it was really cool that they did that. Um, it's and how like Devastator. The name is Dark Devastator. It's like don't call me Dev. It's so funny. It was so cool what they did with that character too because it speaks to kind of how Kylo Ren was too. You know, like that you go
Hmm.
evil because you're lonely,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
you know you want to destroy the universe because it destroyed you, and kind of coming to terms with the fact that he isn't necessarily irredeemable. He just kind of has to accept that there is somebody out there now that he found his brother that can kind of, you know, help him, you know,
Hmm.
not want to destroy the entire galaxy. So I thought it was really cool how they built it around like these two brothers that were estranged and like trying to figure out that, you know, Sig the whole time he doesn't necessarily want to restore the galaxy. He just wants to restore his home and get his brother back.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
that's what was really
He
important
doesn't
to
want to
him.
tell new stories. He just wants to
Yeah.
relive all the old ones, which I think, again, very
Yeah.
curious, right, in
Yeah.
terms of framing device.
Yeah, especially because, and then, you know, he has powers, but doesn't really want to use them because he doesn't want to be a hero. He doesn't want to be a part of the story. He
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
kind of wants to be a side character, you know? So it's really cool to have that kind of, I don't want to be a hero, but ends up being the hero anyway, which was cool. And it's just, there was so much, because I think one of the characters, obviously, that it causes always so much conversation is Luke, obviously,
Hmm.
and people were pissed about what happened in the Last Jedi and everything, and it was so cool to see like this hippie version of Luke that
Yeah, it's
doesn't
just like
give a crap, and
it's kind of doubling down the Last Jedi almost in many
yeah,
ways. It's just like, well, he cut himself off on the Force here. He's never even a Jedi. He's just a
right,
beach bum, which I thought
and
was great. And then Tatooine's also kind of a beach planet. The
right, and then it's like the Marina Cantina
Marina
now, and then
Cantina.
and then he's like, instead of desert, you know, it's just like this oasis now,
Yeah,
no more sand. Um, but it was hilarious that, and then like pod racing and using the force to cheat, you know, which is so anathema to what Luke is supposed to
yeah,
be. But
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
fact that they used like the original engines from the pod racer was really cool, I thought, and the same like sound effects.
And he
So
also has like Padme's like the
the
little
Batman, yeah,
Anakin's necklace that he makes for
yeah,
Padme, which I thought was really cute.
I know. But it's so fun when when Sig's like trying to get him to join, and when he tells his story back in those like two sentences or something,
Hmm.
which is like, I mean, I everybody dies, and then I die from using the force too hard. Like, why would I want to help you? I just let me be a beach bum, you know? Like, I don't care about, you know, anything. But then, you know, it's Luke, so obviously he comes.
Obviously, he does. Yeah,
Um, but I think it was so cool for Mark Hamill to be a part of it and just kind of,
have
it's,
fun. Yeah.
yeah, you know, and Luke is everybody's hero, yes, but he's just a guy, you know? So I thought it was a really cool way to handle, you know, all those characters. But yeah, but Palpatine killed me. When they were
But
talking, it did not occur to me when they were talking about like the Jedi. There's very few Jedi left, but
And Jabba the Hutt as a Jedi, Cat Bane as a Jedi. That's so
Cat
ridiculous.
Bane was crazy. Cat Bane was crazy. Yeah.
Eh, but yeah, but I like that a lot. It's just having fun with these characters in ways that
Mhm.
we haven't had fun with them before. Because yeah, we've had the previous Lego specials and
Yeah.
they've all been fun. They've all been great.
Yeah.
We've covered them here in the past, but this one's just like, hey, let's go crazy and just do whatever
Yeah.
we want. And it's low. I mean, it's high stakes. As the story's high stakes. There's
Yeah.
a galaxies on the line, right? But it's low stakes in that you can just relax, have fun,
Yeah.
get some popcorn, and not take it or yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
Uh, which I think we definitely need to do a lot more of.
Yeah.
Just it's a supercharged environment that we're on, that we're living through right now. Yeah, I definitely thought that after the 2020 elections, things were gonna cool off a little bit,
Yeah.
but I
No.
feel like we're even more in the boiling water than we were since
Yeah.
2016. So
It's
it's been a
bad.
lot. So
Yeah.
we need stories like this that help us
Yeah.
escapism at the
Lift
end,
up
right?
the spirits.
And Star Wars is always supposed to be escapism,
Yeah.
but reality has dragged us back into being
Yeah.
miserable. So Lego has definitely helped us very much in that endeavor. But I want to talk a little bit about moving forward, right, and like what to
Right.
expect. But I think one of the interesting things that this special did was we talked about how in the ending we don't return to the original Star Wars
Yeah.
galaxy, which I thought was a very ballsy move, but it
Yeah.
also leaves the door open, right? And obviously, it has the
Yeah.
cliffhanger with the Landalorian and everything.
Yeah.
But I thought it was
Darth
interesting because
Ray.
every Lego special is kind of self-contained in many ways. It's even, I mean,
Yeah.
especially because of their seasonal specials, so they're not
Yeah.
necessarily meant to continue in a episodic kind of way.
Mhm.
But obviously, Rebuild the Galaxy wasn't a 1 hour and an hour and a half special. It was 4 episodes, so it was
Yeah.
already episodic in that way. And by
Yeah.
ending the way it does, it kind of implies, right, that the story will continue. So I guess that's my question to you now: is do you want it to continue? And if you do, what what do you want to see from Rebuild the Galaxy going forward?
Actually, I think it'd be cool if going forward the main character this time would be like Darth Devastator, like trying to see
Hmm.
him like after he realizes that he doesn't necessarily want to be like the destroyer of the world and was kind of, betrayed and abandoned by all his apprentices and just like trying to find his place in the world after everything that happened. So I think that would be really cool. And then you could add, some more of the characters in, the different roles and all of that. So I don't know. I think there's a lot that they could do with it because
Hmm.
there's no limit to what they can do because it's all everybody got changed, switched around, so it's fantastic. I kind of want to see where Boba Fett is because you know some of the other characters, but I think it'd be super fun if they kept it going. And also, I think it because they were going to go to like the home planet of the builders, right? So that'd
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
really cool to see like that other facet of the Force and maybe like Jedi that dedicate themselves to being Lego builders or something.
Yeah,
What
I
about you?
definitely,
Do you think they would keep going? Would you want them to?
I think, I mean, and this is my hopeful, the hopeful nature in me,
Yeah.
because I mean, but I said almost this exact same thing at the end of the Acolyte, and look at where that got
What
me.
happened? Yeah.
For me, it's just like you don't finish a show in this way. I mean,
Hmm.
and I guess we said the same thing with Willow, and look at where that got us. Anyway,
Hmm.
I digress. But I'm gonna say it again because damn it, I'm hopeful. But you don't end the show in this way
Yeah.
if you didn't have stories that were going to continue in
Yeah.
some way. And I'm sure that Lucasfilm saw it and were like, okay, yeah, this is something we might want to continue. So I definitely hope it continues. Maybe it's not in the same way as Bad Batch or Clone Wars or Rebels, where it's just
Yeah.
an actual full season that's
Yeah.
weekly all the time. Maybe it's more specials like this that are
Yeah.
more consistent, or maybe. they do release weekly, but it's like kind of a special for the season two is just maybe
Yeah.
like a week or two or something like
Yeah.
that. But it's kind of more sporadic, but it's a story
Yeah.
that continues every so often. Maybe kind of like Tales of the Jedi or and Tales of the Sith or the Empire,
Yeah.
sorry, where they were kind of like self-contained things that happen once in a
Yeah.
while. I think that would be fun to kind of do these palette cleansers
Yeah.
every time there's a live action show. It's just like Acolyte, here's Rebuild the Galaxy. Skeleton Crew,
Yeah.
here's Rebuild the Galaxy. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
which we'll see because right now I think that after Andor season two, I'm not sure that we have any more live action shows on the horizon. Obviously, we'll have
They
Ahsoka
were kind
season
of
two, but
teasing like
that's further
Obi-Wan
down.
season 2, right? Is that
Yeah, that is,
they've been talking about it, but I don't know.
it's
Yeah.
been a slow couple of weeks for Star Wars news, but this week at
No.
LA Comic Con or yeah, LA Comic Con. New York Comic Con's happening this week, I think. Whatever. Not the point. The point is that there
Mhm.
was one of those interviews with Ewan McGregor, and he was just mentioning how he's been talking about a potential season two and how he wants to wear the Clone Wars armor and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But it's just it's
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they did anything with that, at least at this point, because I feel like Disney and Lucasfilm are re-strategizing what Star Wars is going to be uh, in lieu of what's happened with the Acolyte and
Yeah.
what's coming in the future. So I think right now there's nothing, right? I mean, there are things that we know are going to come, and there are things that have been announced, but also
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of uncertainty because
Yeah.
if you look at maybe when was it the last Disney's D23 when Kathleen Kennedy announced everything under the sun? When it was like
Yeah.
Rangers of the New Republic, Lando, Children of Blood
Yeah.
and Bone, like like she announced like I don't know how many projects, and
Yeah.
what 80% of them, oh maybe I'm exaggerating, but a lot of them haven't
Have
come to
been
be, and it
Yep.
was a lot of it was TV focused, and I think right now they're switching to be film focused, which for me is just like what's the point of my Disney subscription? What's my point of
Right.
my Disney Plus if now we're just gonna? I mean, don't get me wrong, I want more movies,
Yeah. But
but
we
I
can
also
do
want,
both.
but we
They
can do
can do
both.
both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we don't have as many shows, sure, but we
Yeah.
also, but I don't know. I don't have the answers. And I know that TV and film are going through a crisis right now because all the tech bros and streaming uh,
Yeah.
services want to destroy everything because it's not about art anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but uh, yeah.
So the next thing is Skeleton Crew, right? And that
The
doesn't come
next
out till
thing is
like
Skeleton
December.
Crew.
Yeah.
Skeleton Crew first trailer dropped a couple of weeks ago, maybe like a couple of months ago. At this point, I don't even know what time is. But that trailer dropped. Watched it. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
I haven't.
It's
Is it good?
it's very Amblin inspired, as Stranger
Yeah.
Things. It's a bunch of
Mhm.
kids who
Yeah.
get separated from their normal suburban lives and go on a Star Wars adventure. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not excited for it,
Yeah.
to be blunt,
Blunt.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
But it's a new Star Wars, so I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah.
And like I said, all the Star Wars shows have been good, even the ones that we haven't necessarily been thrilled about, like
Yeah.
maybe the Book of Boba Fett or Mando season three. I
Yeah.
I still enjoyed them. I still
Yeah.
thought that was great. I still rather have that kind of Star Wars than no Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Skeleton Crew, but I don't know. What about you? I know you haven't seen that trailer, but are you looking forward to Skeleton Crew, or is there anything else that you're looking forward to in the media landscape? Because I know there's also a lot of good films and shows that are out right now. I'm watching The Penguin, which has been really good so
The
far.
Penguin's really
Uh,
good. Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes. I haven't watched the 3rd one yet. But yeah, that's really good. No, I was so disconnected, honestly, and just watching crap TV, just to like distract myself after I would stop studying, that I haven't really even checked to see what's upcoming. I have no idea. I feel super lost. I still really want to go watch Beetlejuice, which I haven't had the chance to. I think it's still in theaters down here. So,
mhm.
I mean, because I'm a huge fan. And now it's Halloween. So, um, So I have no idea. Skeleton Crew, like you said, it wasn't one of those ones that when it was announced, I was like super excited
Mhm.
about. But like you said, we enjoy all of them. I mean, honestly, still, the Obi-Wan show I think was kind of unnecessary, but then I really enjoyed it, so I can't really judge until it starts. So obviously I always look forward to more Star Wars, but it wasn't one of the ones that was like on the top of my list or anything. Obviously super excited, cannot wait for season 2 of Andor, but that's obvious. Um but other than that, I really don't know what else is. Are you excited about anything? Cuz I have.
Eh, I mean, what the hell did I just watch? I know I've been to the movies a couple of times. There's a couple of movies that I want to watch. I saw Megalopolis a couple of weeks ago. I saw Beetlejuice 2. I saw let me check my Letterboxd account actually,
Okay.
because my Letterbox knows me better than myself at this point because it is keeping I just log everything I watch now. So in many ways, when I die, you can know what I did every day of my life now. Saw The Substance, which was incredible. I
Okay.
It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for people with weak stomachs. Uh,
Uh-huh.
so if you are looking for a gory film that also is about social commentary, I definitely recommend The Substance. Margaret Qualley and Demi Moore are amazing in it. But let's see what else. Let's see what else I was watching. Megalopolis. Oh shit! Wait. I swear to God, I'm doing this right. Um. Alien Romulus and Joker. Joker, I thought was very interesting.
Mhm.
Definitely not for everybody. Joker 2. Definitely not for everybody. But I know a lot of people have been tearing it apart, and I think one of the reasons that people have been tearing it apart are the reasons that I liked uh,
It's
the movie.
okay.
It's obviously I don't want to give it away, and I wouldn't recommend people go see it in movie theaters because I know it's not an easy movie to watch and it's not a film for everybody. I will also admit that I probably won't be seeking it out again to rewatch, but I
Right.
do think it's a good film and an interesting film and a interesting subversion of the first one. Uh, but definitely not for everybody, and I can
Mhm.
understand why some people haven't been too connected with it. Uh,
Yeah.
Definitely looking for more films in the future. There's this film with Ray Fiennes called Conclave, which I'm
Right.
very excited for. As you know, we love a good Catholic drama.
And
Uh,
I love me some Ray Fiennes.
and we love ourselves some Ray Fiennes. And
Yeah.
then there's the Brutalist, which is another art film about architecture and stuff with Adrian Brody, which I've heard people that have seen it earlier been saying that it's if Megalopolis were good. Uh, because I, unlike some people, am very willing to say Megalopolis, not good.
You're not good.
And not even good in a this is so like The Room, it's so bad it's good kind of way. Megalopolis is
Okay.
not good, not good, not good, not good. It's bad. It's bad
Mhm.
because because when I went into it, I was either I wanted it to either be great or be terrible,
Okay.
because I was going to be able to enjoy either position. So
Uh-huh.
I was very hopeful in that sense, but it was bad in a this is not good kind
Just
of way.
bad. Just
It's
bad.
one of
Yeah.
those
Just
films.
randomly bad.
It's one of those films that think they're being deep, but it's just like, no, you're not deep if you're just asking a question. That's what Fox News does. They just ask questions. Like, what's the point? You're deep if you make statements, but asking questions isn't deep. A child asks questions, and if you're going to, I don't know. We can talk
Yeah.
about that in a
No.
separate episode. But
Okay.
Megalopolis, not good, not good. Uh, but yeah, other than that, I just want Star Wars to I'm enjoying Phase 3 of the High Republic. I'm getting about a couple of the comic books that I haven't
Okay.
read
Mhm.
about the Thrawn adaptations of the novels. So kind of get back into those. Since 'cause I feel like Star Wars is safe and good in publishing. So
Yeah.
relying on that a little bit for the time being and just like kind of like you in many ways, just watching crappy TV to
Yeah.
disconnect a little bit because I
Yeah.
will not lie. I'm a little stressed about November 6th.
It, yeah. I think everybody is. It's gonna be rough. Um,
Go
and
vote. Go vote.
it's coming slowly. Like rapidly. Sorry, it's like almost here.
Mhm.
This year has gone by so fast, and now this is just terrifying.
Yeah, yeah. This year, it's insane to think about. This year is 10 years since I graduated from graduate school, which is insane. Insane to think about, because to me, it's just like I just finished graduate school and I just moved to Chicago and I blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, no, no. It's been 10 years. It's time is unrelenting. And if
Well,
it's
I
been,
just graduated from law school, but next year it's 20 years since my bachelor's degree.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, with
Mhm.
that, welcome back. Welcome back. Triad of the Force has not been the same without you.
I'm
We
glad to
did
be back.
a valiant effort, a titanic effort, a mega effort to since I was talking about Megalopolis to
Megalopolis, yeah.
keep this ship going without you. But I am happy to report that you have been sorely missed, and it's definitely not the same. So we are I'm feeling re-energized with you back on the ship, and yeah, Star Wars is slow, so we'll kind of diversify as we did a
Yeah.
couple years ago when we were actually talking about other nerd-related media.
Yeah. It's
But
in the
yeah,
it's in the introduction. So yeah, we have to do other media too. So
but yeah,
yeah.
hopefully now we're in spooky season, so we'll talk about some of our
Yeah.
favorite scary movies in the future. But yeah, with that, I think we can keep it light for this episode, even though it wasn't that light because we kind of got into a
It
little
got a little intense. Well, we
more
needed to catch up. It's been a
yeah, we
while.
needed to catch up. So
Yeah.
hopefully, I know everyone's gonna be happy to have you back and to hear your
Yay.
voice doing the introduction, and doing the introduction and the outro. So I don't know. With that, if you don't have anything to say, I think you can sign us off.
We are the Triad of the Force. Thank you so much for joining us. Watch the Lego Star Wars special, Rebuild the Galaxy. It is so much fun. It's short, it's 4 episodes, 20 something minutes each. Let us know if you liked it. Let us know how you feel about Star Wars. Post the Acolyte, everything that happened.
Mhm, mhm.
Let us know also, it's Halloween. What's some of your favorite stuff that you like about the season so we can talk about it in upcoming episodes? And I'm back. Hopefully, I passed the bar so I don't have to study for it again. And until next time, may the force be with you.